Hello, hello, hello. January 21st. Welcome, everybody and nobody. It is January 21st, 2020. 2020. We're now, 3 full weeks into the new year. It is flying by quickly. I don't know if anybody else feels like it's flying by so quickly. But it does to me. Already 3 weeks in, it feels like we just celebrated New Year's maybe a week ago, a week and a half, but yet it's been 3 weeks. Just a couple things to talk about today. First of all, today is the second day of the Senate trial or the impeachment trial in the Senate. And I haven't actually paid much attention to it. I'm sure there are plenty of people that are watching it from start to finish, and they'll be able to inform you much better than the average. But I think that we have to maybe look for sources that are impartial. I'll get back to this, but I just wanted to remind you that the impeachment trial is going on, and it is day 2. I brought something up a couple days ago. It was the coronavirus. I actually don't think I was able to name what it was. I didn't remember from reading it exactly what the name of the virus was, but it's a virus that they're saying has originated in China, and they've have some cases in China. I think there's 6 people have died. 300 people are now reported infected and undergoing some sort of treatment. And I think I know they found cases in Japan and I think also Thailand, but I'm not sure of that. But on the home front, just when we thought we were safe and we would not have to deal with this, much like I think it was the bird flu that was um, taking place over on the other side of the world, and we weren't really affected by it. But we have not gotten so lucky this time. And the coronavirus first case was found today or yesterday in Washington State. A guy from, well, I'm not sure where he's from, but he visited a place in China called Wuhan, not Wu Tang, Wuhan, China. WHUAN, China. And he returned from China. I can't remember how long ago, but it was before. So right now we have a quarantine happening, or people have to be inspected before they're allowed to join general population if you've traveled overseas to Asia. So they've set up some sort of quarantine where people are tested before they're again allowed to participate or leave the facility. This guy, apparently they're saying he's healthy, he's being treated, and he should be okay. Now I don't know what the truths are, but be careful out there. That's your first warning. Be careful because there is a coronavirus going on, and people that are coming from other parts of the world are bringing it over here. So I don't know if it's one of these things where somebody's messing around with some stuff in a lab and it, you know, got out by mistake, and now it's moving uncontrollably through another region of the world. But so far, it's one case in the United States, and I would uh, put money on it that it won't be the last case. As oh, as it's kind of hard to stop something like that. Sorry, I rushed this particular session, and I'm not sure if I have right kind of settings happening here. Yes, I do. Okay, good. Okay, so be careful out there. So wash your hands. Um, Stay away from people that are sneezing. I don't know if that'll help you or not, but wash your hands and try to be as clean as possible, and definitely stay away from people that look like they have. I think it's either flu-like symptoms or I think the symptoms mimic pneumonia or pneumonia-like. So that's definitely something that is kind of scary, kind of weird, and that's your first warning. Your second warning of today comes attached to a story that I talked about a couple days ago. And I asked you people out there in the world to send somebody over to help Antonio Brown. And apparently you didn't listen. And so now Antonio Brown has found himself with police officers, apparently many police officers, in front of his house. And there's some kind of standoff, if you will, where he has assaulted somebody. They're calling it a battery and burglary case. So he's assaulted some driver along with another guy. The other guy that he was with, this is all allegedly. We don't know if this is true. This is what I'm just reporting from what I'm reading and hearing. But I don't know if you saw the live video that Antonio Brown posted on Instagram a few days ago, maybe a week ago, with his the mother of his children and his children leaving the house, escorted by the police to police cars as he throws out a bunch of terrible statements in front of his children. But I asked that someone help him, and apparently nobody did. And so now he finds himself possibly he's going to be arrested. I don't know if that's true, but that's what they say. So, having spent some time looking into some of the previous behavior from Mr. Brown, your second warning is that you should not name your kids in a way that would allow for the possible initials of AB. So I think that should be the end of that, because Adrian Broner is another person who is quite wild and crazy and finds himself in the on the wrong side of the news pretty often, or used to anyway. And both of these people go by the initials AB and the nickname AB. So when you name your kids in the future, you might want to steer clear of the initials AB. All right, that's your second warning. Now, Netflix will have no more ads, or I'm sorry, Netflix will not try the model of having ads on their streaming service. Thank goodness, because they don't have to. Apparently, they're signing up people at rapid pace. So far, no ads on Netflix, and I'll tell you right now, that'll kill a TV show and a definitely binge watching or anything else that we do on the streaming service. I'm not interested in it. So you pay your $14, $15, $16, whatever it is a month, and no ads. I'll pay for it. I'll take that. I also have Amazon Prime, even though I'm not a big fan of Amazon. I'm not even a actually I'm a fan of Amazon. I think their business model is amazing, but it's definitely not good for the future of America. And let that be a third warning to you, to be careful with what you allow Amazon to do, because it can be detrimental to your society. Tesla. I talked about Tesla having a valuation much bigger than Ford and General Motors. And now Tesla has a valuation, or a company valued at $100 billion. $100 billion for Tesla. And I see Teslas all over the road in Southern California. So definitely doing his job of marketing and getting the word out for the purchase of Teslas. There is there's a guy, I don't remember his name. I think his name is Rich. You should check him out on YouTube. I think his name is Rich, and he runs the Electrifying Garage. I think it's called Electrifying Garage, and I think it may be out of Boston. I know he's out of Boston, but anyway, he took a Tesla that was wrecked or submerged in water and revived it, and he has some things to say about um, the company of Tesla. I mean, anyway. You should check him out. He's a very interesting fella, and he's one of the first people to kind of get Teslas in a garage and to really understand how to reconstruct it, build it, and get it working again. And it'd be nice to get more people over there looking at his channel and seeing what he's all about. So congratulations to Tesla and Elon Musk for figuring out how to get people to invest so much money in the company that he is now a higher valuation than two of the largest and longest standing companies in the United States. Pretty crazy. I'm sure he's been wanting to have that evaluation for that valuation for so long. That seems to be. It almost seems like these are like catchphrases, or um, it's interesting that he found his way to $100 billion in valuation. I don't know. Keep that in mind. That's an interesting thing to me that these companies are. It's almost like I wonder if they projected. Obviously, they projected to be at this stage, but I wonder what this does psychologically to the consumer when you hear about this type of valuation in a company. Must be beneficial. All right, so almost down. I've already given you three warnings, and but I'm going to give you another one. I'm going to do that at the end. But I wanted to make you aware, if you're a fight fan, that we have an incredible group of fights coming up. One on February 8th, so not too long ago. Pardon my mic's really picking up a lot of stuff. Pardon my paper shuffling. But there's a fight, John Jones on February 8th, and it's for the, I think it's light heavyweight. I think yeah, he's light heavyweight. So it's a big deal. John Jones essentially is an undefeated um, UFC fighter, considered to be pound for pound, the best UFC fighter essentially in the history of UFC. He is the most dominant fighter in the world, and it's kind of crazy. I think about this from time to time. When you're somebody like John Jones, and you walk around in the various places, and obviously you remember Mike Tyson being someone who people challenged all the time. But this mixed martial arts is a different thing than boxing. Now, don't get me wrong. It's likely that if you get in a fight with Tyson in the street and he catches you with one of those blows back in the day, it's going to be tough for you to get over that or get through that. But I wonder what it feels like to John Jones to know that no matter where he goes in the world, barring, I guess, giant people, um, that he could kick just about everybody's ass, if not everybody's ass that he meets. And so, I mean, it's obviously a person has a pipe or knife or gun, nothing you can do about that. But when you think about that, in any place, a lot of guys walk around feeling, um, weak and vulnerable. But he's a guy who can actually feel like he can. Nobody can kick his ass, and he can kick anybody's ass. It's pretty weird. Anyway, he's fighting on February 8th. Another crazy thing about him is I don't get it. I really don't. I mean, I know he had some bad press. Um, I just don't get. I mean, I do get it, but I don't get it. I don't understand why he's not a bigger star. I wish somebody could explain that to me. I don't understand why. I understand that he some bad stuff happened in the past with him, and I also understand that he was busted, but now they found that to probably not be true, that he was using steroids. So okay, so if he's been cleared of the steroid use, and like, why isn't he as big of a draw? I mean, as Conor McGregor. So I guess maybe the one question would be, or the one statement would be, it's because he doesn't have the whole Ireland country behind him like McGregor does. Like, he has a whole country backing. Um, but I mean, John Jones is from this country, and he is essentially an undefeated fighter, the most dominant fighter in the UFC currently, maybe in the history. And he's not a big star. And he when he talks, he's not terrible. I mean, actually, he's pretty articulate, and I mean, doesn't have a dynamic personality, and maybe that's the answer. That he doesn't have a dynamic personality like McGregor. So maybe that's it. McGregor's a big uh, trash talker. So it's possible that that's what it takes. So it's interesting to. I'd love to unpack that with somebody who would be able to explain to me exactly why that is. Next fight coming up after that, there's some fights in between that, but they're a little less spectacular in terms of star power. I think the John Jones fight is really significant, um, but we'll see what ESPN does in terms of promotion. And then we on February 22nd, we got the rematch of Wilder Fury. Big deal. Another incredible fight. We got to see Fury dance around and try to not get hit by one punch, which is essentially all it takes for Wilder, and that's very hard to do for 12 rounds. Even though he did it last time, I don't. I'd have to. I'm going to go back and watch that fight and just see. So I'll make predictions on all these fights. I'll just go ahead and make a prediction right now for John Jones. I just can't see anybody beating him. Though I think based on his last performance, even though I think um, and maybe I think based on his last performance, uh, which I which it would make people pause for concern. However, I actually think that that was a ploy. I think that he didn't want to look too dominant in his previous two fights, so he'd actually lure some people in. That's my thoughts on that. So yeah, we have again Wilder and Fury on the 22nd, and on the 29th we have Mikey Garcia and Jesse Vargas. So exciting things coming up, and thank you for tuning in. And my third and final warning is this: be careful of what the precedence sets, and look beyond what's in front of you. So right now we have some historical events happening, and if we don't handle these things right, I have a feeling that this is going to erode the um, the fabric of what we have currently. And I'm trying to be as vague as possible because I'm I do have obviously political views, and I don't have any political leanings though, and so but I do have a sense for um, an interest in doing what is right, and then what is going to be right in terms of direction for the future. And we have to be careful. I talked about this in a previous post. We have to be careful about precedents. And if we start doing things the wrong way, then we can always do things the wrong way. So that's your third warning of the day or night. Good night, everybody.